Morning Intuitives. Another before work video, and if you wonder why I lean in at the beginning of every video, it's to see that I'm actually recording, because I have talked for 15 minutes just to have it not record, and then I don't have time to do it before work. So there's a reason behind some of what I do, I guess. I'm just making this up as I go along. Like most of my videos, I'm off the cuff today. So, getting into another INFJ topic, and before I do, please like and subscribe. Please subscribe, because I have this odd phenomenon where every 2 subscribers I gain, I lose one, so it's very hard for me to gain any ground, because I guess I piss people off regularly. I don't know. They don't comment or anything or tell me why they're mad at me. They just leave. Being ghosted. Bad subscribers. Not all of you, obviously, or even most of you. You can tell me if I piss you off. I won't hex you, probably. But I wanted to get into an INFJ video today about things that INFJs hate. What are some major things that an INFJ can't stand, and what will we do when we are confronted with it? And the first one of that, and it's a common theme of this channel, is manipulation. INFJs absolutely abhor manipulation of any kind, whether it's manipulating somebody to, say, work overtime and not get overtime pay. Say it's manipulating somebody to date someone they don't really like under peer pressure. Sexually exploiting somebody for the sake of getting your rocks off, but maybe promising that person that it'll make them a star. Yeah, it's like modeling, in a nutshell. But lying to somebody to get them to do something that they don't want to do, or that might be illegal, but to promise them it's gonna, they're gonna repay them tenfold or something. I think everybody on this channel knows what manipulation is, and it's horrible. Pretty much getting anybody to do anything under force and duress. We can't stand manipulation at all. It pisses us off. It makes us angry. It causes our INFJ rage to come out. I did a video on INFJ rage, and one of these days I'm going to somehow get myself filmed in a rage, because I actually have to be in rage to express my INFJ rage. I can't just, turn it on. I don't have the ability to fake it. I don't really have the ability to fake anything. I am male, after all. Women are very, can fake something sometimes quite convincingly that men can't. But what am I talking about? Oh, use your intuition. All right. Another point INFJs hate is criticism. Now, while we can take constructive criticism, like a fair assessment of, say, our work performance or something of that kind, we hate criticism in the form of like nitpicking. Like, say you're told to do a task and you correctly complete the task at work, but you didn't do it the way your supervisor wanted you to do it exactly, even though you weren't told to do it that specific way. Yeah, that pisses us off. Like the fact that it's like, well, you said do this, job done, now you're criticizing me for not doing it your way, but you didn't tell me what the hell your way is. Like, people like that just essentially search for any reason to criticize somebody. Like, any little minor thing that they can critique, they're going to do it. That kind of criticism gets to us. We can't stand it, and it's important to know that people that criticize in that manner, there's no pleasing them anyway. Mom. All right. Another big one is conflict. INFJs have a hard time with unnecessary conflict that doesn't matter. Sometimes conflict is unavoidable. Again, INFJ rage comes out when it's needed. But unnecessary, trivial conflict over things of no consequence, like people taking things seriously that aren't really seriously, shit like, well, if I'm thinking back a ways like prom or anything to do with high school, it doesn't matter. It's fake. It's inconsequential. I don't care about all the conflict and drama that surrounds it, or what fictional character is sleeping with what fictional character on what TV show. For Christ's sake, it's fake. Doesn't matter. Who cares? You know, there's no reason to get in, you know, to epic debates over, you know, never mind. I gotta think of an example quick. Over, you know, if the werewolf Indian dude or the, I guess, perverted vampire dude who creepily wants to be a high school student his whole immortal life, well, I guess in that case I'd go with the vampire guy, only because anybody who is immortal and chooses to spend their whole life in high school scares the living hell out of me. And should you too. That's what I love about high school girls. I keep getting older, they stay the same age. See the correlation there? So another one, chaos and sudden change. INFJs are planners. We're very forward thinking. We overthink everything. Nothing we do. We don't fly by the seat of our pants or shoot from the hip. We'll sit and aim and cock the hammer back and really get that very precise single action shot before we pull the trigger. So sudden changes, like a boss changing your work schedule the day before to where you're getting out of work at 9 o'clock and he expects you to be back at 6:30 the next morning, that's bad. That's me tomorrow. That's me today and tomorrow, by the way. So stuff like that, sudden changes that we weren't told about, where basically all of our planning goes to shit. It's like, well, how am I supposed to get to the gym? How am I going to get a video done? How am I going to get enough sleep? You know, blah 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 blah. Everything that we've planned ahead for, if it like just goes to hell out of a sudden change that is not a change caused by some legitimate emergency, that pisses us off. You know, just switching things around for no really important reason and just blah 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 blah. So what if you had all these plans? Fuck you, kind of thing. Next one is cruelty, and specifically cruelty towards babies, which are awesome, and animals, which are almost as awesome as babies. So unnecessary cruelty, or just cruelty for the sake to enforce dominance over somebody, to show like being cruel to somebody because you can and you believe you can get away from it. Bullying would fall under this heading as well. You know, getting off on being cruel to somebody, trying to destroy them, diminish them, humiliate them, exploit them because you can. Sexual exploitation would fall under this too. Somebody, you know, getting off on, you know, sexually assaulting, exploiting, or humiliating somebody because it gets them off and they feel that they can get away with it. Well, people are speaking out now, long overdue, but change is coming. Always call out the cruel. Another one that I think most of you are aware of is unnecessary attention, is something INFJs hate. INFJs do not like being in the spotlight for sake of attention, though we do have strong leadership skills and we can and do sometimes enjoy having attention for when we're trying to get a message across or raise awareness about something we believe in. Like, I don't know, an INFJ who goes on the news to talk about bullying and hazing to try to change the culture of that profession so that no future person who enters that profession as their dream job has to endure what that INFJ had to endure. That is just an example. I'm not speaking of anything specific, but it does prove my point. So if, you know, an INFJ is trying to help someone or trying to raise awareness or help a charity or something, attention may be a good thing, but attention for attention's sake or attention seeking is something we can't stand and we try to avoid, and we may be able to tolerate it in short bursts, but, you know, very draining on the INFJ battery. Our social interactions like a battery. Certain things drain it faster. Another big one is a lack of authenticity, you know, shallowness, fakeness, materialism. Somebody pretending to be somebody that they're not when not in front of a camera playing a character. Someone who acts as a different person around different people. Very Machiavellian, very, you know, ends justify the means, or just essentially trying to get over on someone or to manipulate or use someone. We cannot stand that. That pisses us off. I've done, you know, other videos that talk about that more in length, but that is another big point I wanted to talk about today. And the last one, and I talk about this one a lot, toxic people. narcissists, borderline, histrionics, liars, cheaters, manipulators, bullies, racists, misogynists, the gambit of things. You know, Toxic people in general is something we can't stand, and we are firm believers that they should be exposed for who and what they are and be judged accordingly based on their own actions and how they treated people, and not who they are, what they do for a living, who they're related or friends with, how much money they're worth, that kind of thing. So toxic people is probably the biggest thing that pisses off, because sadly INFJs are often a target of toxic people. And I did a video about why uh, narcissists target INFJs. You should check out for that one. Maybe I'll put a link to it in this and the INFJ Rage video, since I mentioned that a couple times in here. So those are 8 things that an INFJ hates, and kind of gives you an explanation of why we do and a little bit and how we deal with it. So be aware of them. Understand, if you are an INFJ, it is common for these things to piss you off or send you into a rage, and probably more often than not justifiably so. Just remember, trust your intuition when dealing with these 8 things, and don't sell out your integrity to appease the group think of, what everybody else is thinking about. In these situations, oftentimes it will fall on you to be the one to do the right thing and to call the person out or fix the situation. And subscribe.